Welcome back to another episode of SmoothBrainEDH, where we make the smoothest plays with the biggest brains. This week, we have some new commanders we're excited to show off, so let's get to it. Up first is Chandler, playing Hashaton, Scarab's Fist. Chandler's going to discard some beefy creatures and reanimate them for Hashaton's reduced cost and outvalue his opponents. Next up is Sam, on Alaundo, the Seer. Sam's trying to suspend a bunch of cards to cast them for a reduced cost and playing a bunch of untappers in order to have crazy turns. Third is Matt, back on his Gwen Stacy Ghost Spider list. It's Exile Matters, baby, and Matt's trying to play a bunch of stuff from Exile to make a huge Ghost Spider. Last up is Jason, playing Ulalek, Fused Atrocity. It's Eldrazi Kendrick. It kind of goes burr. That's all I got. We're about to hop into the game, but before that, go ahead and give us a like and let us know down in the comments section which deck you're rooting for. Links to our socials, our deck lists, and our public Discord are in the description down below. Huge shout out to all of our YouTube members. We really appreciate your support, and if you want to become a member, check out the link down in the description below. If you want to buy something from Dragon Shield, use our code SMOOTH5 for 5% off your entire order at checkout. Now, on to the video.
But first, a word from our sponsor.
Sleek, elegance, bold. Let it look back at you and redefine colorless. Devoid by Forrest Emmel.
Ah! Joke's on you! This is a playmat ad!
This beautiful playmat is made by magic artist Forrest Emmel, and it's sold through his website, voidmonster.org. Void Monster does monthly drops of original art. This month's drop is Devoid, featuring some, let's say, Lovecraftian monstrosities. This drop runs from right now till October 19th, so if you want it, click the link in the description right now to get this stellar playmat and deck box combo. And if Eldritch Horror isn't your thing, Void Monster has plenty of other magic-themed drops every month. Go get it right now! Okay, enough ad, on to the video.
Oh, and of course the one guy with a Soul Ring gets to go first. So yeah, Jason Shockson Stomping Ground, and he'll cast Soul Ring. Oh, but that's not all. He top-decked a Talisman of Dominance, which he's able to cast as well. Then he'll pass to Matt, who will just play Thundering Falls and Surveil stays on top. Then he'll pass to Chandler, who plays Arcane Sanctum and he'll pass. And Sam will play a Misty Rainforest and fetch for a Hedge Maze, and his Surveil will stay on top, and then he'll pass. Now, on Jason's turn, he's able to just jam Llanowar Waste and cast a turn to Ulalek, and then he'll pass to Matt, who will just play a Command Tower and cast his Creative Talisman, and then he'll pass. And Chandler will play a Morphic Pool and cast his Dominance Talisman and pass. And now on Sam's turn, he'll play a Prismatic Vista, and in classic Sam style, he'll crack it on a random person's turn. So I'm going to go ahead and look ahead. Yeah, he'll crack it for a Forest. Now on Jason's turn, he'll play an Exotic Orchard, then move to combat and hit Chandler for 2 commander. Then post-combat, he'll cast a Herald's Horn on Eldrazi and pass to Matt, who will shock at a Sacred Foundry, then jam Smothering Tithe, and then he'll pass to Chandler, who pays for Tithe on draw step. He'll then play a Vault of Champions, then double down on the vaults with a Collector's Vault, then pass to Sam. Sam is not going to pay for Smothering Tithe, then he'll play a Willow Rush Verge, then cast Eorith and pass to Jason. Jason will start off by paying for Smothering Tithe, then he'll play a Yavi Maya as land for turn, then he'll just tap for 3 and cast Worn Power Stone. After this, he'll move to combat and hit the Smothering Tithe player, and then pass to the Smothering Tithe player, who's going to start off with a Scalding Tarn. He'll then cast a Hero's Hangout. He'll choose to exile the top 2 of his library. It's Final Showdown and Lotus Petal. He'll choose the Lotus Petal. Then he'll fetch for an untapped Hallowed Fountain, then cast Ghost Spider, and then free cast the Lotus Petal, and Ghost Spider will get a counter. He'll then move to combat and bonk Jason for 5 commander, and then he'll pass the turn to Chandler. Okay, never mind, I lied. Lotus Petal is going to cast Monkey. Now we move to Chandler's turn, and he's not paying for Tithe this turn. He'll start off with Shattered Sanctum, then he'll cast his commander, Hashaton. He'll then tap for 3 and cast Frantic Search. So he'll draw 2, then discard 2, and that's going to be a Swamp and Valgavoth, and then he'll untap 3 lands. Now that the spell has resolved, a Hashaton trigger will go on the stack, and Chandler will pay 3 to make a 4/4 copy of Valgavoth. It is tapped. Then the turn is passed to Sam, and he does not pay for Tithe. He'll then play Vine Glimmer Snarl, then cast his commander, Alaundo. He'll then pass the turn to Jason. He doesn't get anything off Herald's Horn. Then he'll jam Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger. Cast Trigger. It exiles Chandler's Collector's Vault and Matt's Smothering Tithe. So they are exiled and the turn is passed to Matt. He'll start off with Quarry Mountain Monastery, and he'll immediately activate it. Unfortunately, Matt makes a bit of an accident here, and he does not read his card. he exiles the top 2 cards of his library instead of the top 1. Thankfully, this doesn't end up mattering though, because the 2 cards are Sensei's Divining Top and Light Up the Stage in that order, and he never does end up casting the Light Up the Stage. Anyways, yeah, he casts the Sensei's Divining Top, and then he'll activate it to look at the top 3 of his library. Oh yeah, and his commander gets another counter. Matt will then move to combat and hit Chandler for 6 commander in the air, and Chandler has to take it. Post-combat, Matt removes 2 counters from Ghost Spider to exile Summon Esperval... I ain't saying that, you can read it. Then he'll use his last 4 treasures to cast it, and when it gets its first chapter, he'll exile Chandler's Frantic Search, and then his own Hero's Hangout. Then he'll pass the turn to Chandler. And said Chandler is having a hard time finding any creatures to discard to Hashaton, so he's going to start off with an Azorius Signet, and then he'll follow that up with Unfulfilled Desires, then pass the turn to Sam, who's going to start off with Command Tower, then he'll activate his commander. So this lets him draw a card and then essentially suspend a Sky Shroud Ranger. It's going to go into exile with only 1 time counter, and then nothing else is in exile, so no counters are removed. And remember, any creature that enters the battlefield from Alaundo suspending gets haste. After this, Sam will tap for 5 and cast an extremely terrifying creature, Chakram Retriever. This makes it very easy to start going off with his commander, and Sam's going to try to. He'll start by tapping Eorith to untap his commander. Alaundo is then activated, so he'll draw a card and suspend Unstoppable Plan. Then a time counter is removed from Sky Shroud Ranger and he's able to cast for free, and it enters with haste. The Retriever will also trigger and untap Alaundo. Commander is once again activated, so he'll draw, and then suspend Funny Monkey Instant. After this, he'll activate his Ranger and put in an island, and then he'll cast Shore Up, targeting Alaundo. Alright, untap trigger goes on the stack. Sam will untap Alaundo, and then in response to his own Shore Up, he'll tap Alaundo again. And this puts Kelpie Guide in exile. Then when counters are removed, Pongify goes on the stack, which puts another untap trigger on the stack, which untaps Alaundo. Oh yeah, Pongify targets Ulalek, and Jason will just respond with a Not of This World, saying, "No, I don't want a monkey." Alright, so that's now countered. There's still an untap that happens, and then a Shore Up on the stack, and still in response to Shore Up, Alaundo's activated again. I'm starting to get a bad feeling that this might be the last turn of the game. Clever Conjurer is put into exile, and Unstoppable Plan comes out of exile, which, you guessed it, causes Alaundo to untap, and then Sam activates it again. This time Fate Stitcher goes into exile, and nothing comes out, so no Chakram Retriever untap. Yay! But then Shore Up resolves, so Alaundo is untapped, gains 1/1, and hexproof. And then he's activated again. Venture Forth is put into exile, and Kelpie Guide comes out. Untap, then activation again. This puts Hunting Pack into exile. Oh, that's a Storm card. We gotta keep track of that now. And now Clever Conjurer comes out of exile. Thank you so much, Jason, for keeping track of Storm. And I think a Chakram Retriever trigger is missed, because Sam will then activate Kelpie Guide to untap Alaundo. Then Commander is activated again, and Harvest Season is put into exile. Next, Clever Conjurer is tapped to untap Alaundo, and then Alaundo is tapped again. And this time Ave Progenitor Ooze is put into exile. That's another Storm card. Then Fate Stitcher comes out, and Chakram Retriever untaps, and Alaundo is activated again. And he's got no spells to put in exile, so he'll just put an island into exile. But Venture Forth will come out, so he gets to cast it. This will get him a basic forest. It'll go back into exile with time counters, and Alaundo's untapped, and activated again. Once again, he doesn't have a spell, so he puts an island in exile. And Harvest Season comes out of exile. Commander's untapped, then activated again. Because, you know, he wants to resolve the Harvest Season with his commander tapped. But honestly, it seems like that's going to be kind of hard, because he keeps untapping it. Anyways, Abundance goes on, and counters are ticked down. He'll then tap Fate Stitcher to untap his commander, then activate him again. And Kiora's Follower is now suspended, and counters will tick down. This makes Venture Forth resolve again. This will untap Alaundo from Chakram Retriever, and then he'll find a Rejuvenating Springs from this. Venture Forth then hits exile again with 3 time counters, and then Sam finally says, "Alright, I'm just going to let Harvest Season resolve." And this will get him 5 basic lands to the battlefield tapped. Deck thinning. Then he'll activate Alaundo again. Still no spells in hand, so he'll exile a land, and this could be a problem. Both Storm spells now resolve from exile. Now, since they're both cast at the same time, we believe they both have Storm count 12. Not like it really matters that much. Anyways, casting them puts 2 untapped triggers and 2 Storm triggers on the stack, and Sam resolves the untaps first, and will activate his commander twice because of this. First one will put Murkfiend Liege into exile, and Kiora's Follower comes out. This puts another Retriever trigger on the stack, which untaps his commander again. He'll activate Alaundo again. Remember, there's still another untap trigger on the stack. He exiles a land, and Abundance comes out of exile, untapping Alaundo again. And with Abundance on the field, his chances of winning this turn just went up a lot. Here's the best part. Venture Forth comes out of exile as well. So not only are there 2 spells on the stack now, but 2 untap triggers. And one of these will actually untap Fate Stitcher. Abundance hits the field, and Venture Forth will hit Bark Channel Pathway and go back into exile. Alaundo is then activated again, and Sam will obviously choose non-land. He reveals the Ricksmithies, and it goes into exile with 4 time counters. And I'm like 80% sure there's one Chakram Retriever that's supposed to be below this on the stack, but that was so long ago it gets forgotten about, so Kiora's follower will untap Alaundo, and then Alaundo is activated again. The non-land choice reveals Arcane Denial, and Breeding Pool is exiled. Commander activated again, naming non-land, reveals Sakashima, gets put into exile. Venture Forth gets cast, Commander untaps, it hits a forest and goes back into exile. Commander activated again, name non-land, reveal and suspend Joyra's Time Bug. The Liege comes out of exile, Commander is untapped. He's activated again, naming non-land, revealing and suspending Rhystic Study. A Ricksmithies comes out of exile, give it up for Storm 20, Commander is untapped. Commander is activated, naming non-land. Spidey Sense is revealed and a land is exiled. Time Bug leaves exile, Commander's untapped, and then activated again. Abundance names non-land, and Crater Hoof Behemoth is revealed and put into exile. And Venture Forth is cast, again. Honestly, at this point, all Sam has to do is cast 8 more spells off of his commander, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to do that, so I'm going to shortcut here a little bit. So Venture Forth is cast, he gets a Tropical Island, then he'll finally resolve his Storm cards, so he gets 13 copies of each total. Commander activated, Refocus put into exile, Sakashima and Rhystic Study come out of exile. 2 untaps, Sakashima becomes another Chakram Retriever. Second untap untaps Fate Stitcher. Next commander activation will suspend Chameleon. Commander's untapped by Fate Stitcher, then activated again. Patriarch Seal is put into exile. Venture Forth comes out of exile, 2 untaps, also Refocus, 2 more untaps, and it's untapped. So he's got a total of 5. 3 will target Joyra's Time Bug, 1 Fate Stitcher, and 1 his commander. And between all the untaps, he'll activate the Time Bug to remove a counter from Chameleon and 2 from Craterhoof Behemoth. And commander is activated again. This puts Coma into exile, and Chameleon comes off. 2 more untaps, 1 on an untapper, and 1 on his commander. And then Chameleon becomes another Chakram Retriever. Commander is activated, Aphedo Alchemist is put into exile. Fate Stitcher untaps commander, and then commander will activate for the last time. Time Beetle goes into exile, and Craterhoof Behemoth comes out. So does Venture Forth. This puts a total of 6 untapped triggers on the stack, and they will all target Fate Stitcher. And in between each of them, he will use Fate Stitcher to tap all of his opponent's creatures. And oh no, Ward from Valgavoth. Yeah, I think Sam's got plenty of non-land permanents. Anyways, Hoof hits the field. Let's get the big count. A total of 40 creatures from Sam, so everything gets plus 40, and trample. Remember kids, every creature that was cast from Alaundo's ability has haste. Now granted, everything from Storm except the original Av cannot attack, but Sam literally needs to attack with 1 creature at each opponent. And if they had interaction, I think they would have used it by now. Anyways, Sam turns things sideways and asks, is this good enough? And the table says yeah. That makes Sam and Alaundo officially the winners. Congratulations. Guys, we made it. The game's over. You can go home now. Okay, but for real though, that was absolutely nuts. Props to Sam for pulling that off on turn 5 and going last. Like, that's just impressive. Now, I'm sure some of you tuned in to see Hashaton, Gwen, and Ulalek jam some cool things, and if you want us to play these guys again so they can actually shine, let us know down in the comments below. But that was just such an impressive Storm turn from Sam, and in Simic as well. Okay, let's get into that. A, Storm turn. B, wasn't Is It. C, was Simic. D, wasn't Simic Landfall. That was really cool. Anyways, that's enough out of me for today. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope you all have a smooth day.